welcome to this Divine Feminine Reset today. I'm very excited to be here with my co-host Sharon Sedgwick, and we'd like to give you a little taste of what you might experience in a Divine Feminine retreat. But we're in the middle of the day, and we're only here for less than an hour, so it's going to be different. I want you to imagine this multiplied like 100 times in terms of context and setting and community and yumminess. So one of the things that helps us to connect to our divine feminine and also keeps us separated from it has to do with our awareness of ourselves in time, in space, and our bodies are constantly assessing what we're doing, how we're feeling, what's around us, even though we're not conscious of it. This exercise I'm going to share with you is a way to help our consciousness be in alignment with our body. It's a somatic practice based on the work of Resmaa Menakem. And I think I'll just lead you through it. So always begin by finding our breath, the thing that connects us to our life force. So taking a few breaths, just letting your energy settle in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you find your thoughts kind of all over the place, try to imagine that your mind is like a siphon, sucking them back in. If you feel your physical, your emotional energy scattered out and about, also drawing it in as if you were an octopus with tentacles, wrapping yourself. And now begin to notice where the edges of your body are. Feel the top of your head. Where are your ears? Feel the spot at the bottom of your chin. Notice the width of your shoulders. Notice the width of your hips. Where is the front of your chest? The small of your back? If you're sitting, feel the bottom of your butt. If you're standing, feel the bottom of your feet. If you're lying down, notice all the points of contact. So as you're feeling the edges of your head, your torso, your arms and legs, now start to expand your awareness to what is above you. You can look if you need to, or you can just notice and sense everything that is above you. And now notice everything that is beneath you. It might be objects, energetic sense, a sense of firmness or softness or solidity. And now notice what is in front of you. If your eyes are closed, you can open them, or you can just sense How far is the next object in front of you? Maybe you know because you're sitting in a familiar place, and you can just feel into the objects that are in front of you. And now noticing what is behind you. Notice if there's space. Is there curiosity because you're not sure? It's okay if you want to turn around and look. And now notice what's out to the right side of you. And notice what's to the left. Can you feel the difference in space from side to side? And now maybe moving your body a little bit in this space that you've kind of constructed in your mind energetically. Maybe you're going back and forth, side to side, hunching your back and folding over, hunching back, just feeling your body moving in this space. And you've created this awareness of your physical and energetic context. You've placed yourself in this space. Now, our bodies innately know how to place us within the space of the planet, the universe. Our bodies can track that, but our consciousness is often not paying attention. So this little exercise helps you pay attention to where you are in space, which helps you connect to yourself, your soul, your energetic field. And it brings you into the now, into this moment, and gives you the capacity to have more awareness for your emotions, your spiritual sense in that moment. And all of these things contribute to awakening yourself to your divine feminine, the authentic sense of who you are at your deepest state, your most authentic, true presentation of who you are. And now, to end this exercise, if you are near a window and you can look out, I want you to find the farthest tree, if you can find a tree. If you're looking out of an office building in a city, but you could even find the furthest office building. Or if you're in a room that doesn't have windows, find the furthest corner up high on the wall where the ceiling and the wall meet. And focus your gaze on that faraway spot. And then bring it back to something near you. And then focus far away again. And bring it back to something near you. And one more time, focusing far away and back near you. And this reminds your body that you are this physical vessel in space, in the context of something larger than where you're sitting or standing or lying, and that you have depth and that you can sense these things. And you can always place yourself and ground yourself so that you can tap into yourself and into your authentic sense of being. So I hope this has brought you in to start us off today. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to Sharon Sedgwick. And Sharon is going to bring back some energy that you might need after this kind of quiet grounding exercise to serve you for the rest of the day. So let me introduce to you Sharon Sedgwick.
Welcome, everybody. Hi. Thank you so much, Carrie. I am so grateful to be here. I am so grateful to be a part of this divine feminine experience, as it is so close to my heart, so dear to my heart. And today we're gonna open up and we're gonna do some breath work. I started playing with breath work probably about 25 years ago, and I have certified in several different modalities, and I have played with so many different experiences with breath work. And today, Carrie asked that I give an example of how we can bring energy back into our body, into our being, and having it be right about midday. This is that time of day. We've eaten lunch, maybe we've got a little bit of a slump. We're walking away for our lunch break if we're working. It's that time of day when we just might need a little pick me up. And so we're going to start with that. I could go into all of the benefits of breath work, but I think that there's so much of that out there. If you Googled it, you could do it. And I don't want to take the time up here, but if anyone wants to ask me, connect with me. I can give you all of the reasons why breath work is so expansive and amazing and just brings us, kind of as Carrie just did, grounds us, gives us energy, or relaxes us, reduces anxiety, or just makes us ready to step forward into it. So just taking a nice deep breath in. What we're going to do here is we're going to be breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And the method of breath is we are going to fill the belly first. We're going to breathe in through the nose, filling the belly up to the heart. And then we're going to exhale. And we're going to do 3 rounds, each round progressively getting a little faster. And then we're going to do 2 sets of those 3 rounds. And it's going to take maybe 5 minutes. And I'd like you just to notice yourself right now and say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much energy do I have? How do I feel right now? So really super simple. We're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Belly, chest. So you're going to fill the belly, bring it up to the chest. So when you're ready, taking a nice deep breath in, allow yourself to get into a comfortable position. Bring a gentle, neutral face. And let's get ready. 3, 2, 1. Deep breath in through the nose. And then quickly out. Deep breath in. And they take one beautiful deep belly to heart breath in. Really feel your entire being with breath. Letting go of any tension with the exhale. One more deep breath in and holding the breath at the top for 30 seconds. If you find it difficult to hold it for 30 seconds, hold it as long as you possibly can. And now we're going to move on to about double time in 3, 2, 1. One more beautiful, deep breath to heart, belly to heart breath in, filling your entire being with this inhale, letting go of any tension with the exhale. And now we're going to find an even faster speed, remembering belly first and then chest. 3, 2, 1. Putting in beautiful deep breath in at the top. Exhale all the way and holding this now for as long as you can. And making sure you let everything out if it's not. Taking a deep breath in. Let it out with a sigh. And beautiful. Bringing yourself back to here. And now I just like to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you sitting now with your focus, with your energy, and with your attention? I'm hoping that number has increased. I know for me, it has. And with that, I'm going to gratefully give the microphone back to Carrie as we move on to the next.
Well, I know that my energy went from a 6 to an 8. It would probably be a 10 if I had better sleep last night. Thank you for that, Sharon.
I hear that.
That was really great. I have one question for you that might be helpful for our listeners as well. I started to get a little bit lightheaded at one point. Is there anything that you recommend to prevent that from happening? Because I wasn't feeling dangerous or anything, but I think it kind of made me a little bit timid to kind of go as far as I otherwise would have.
Slow it down a little bit. Because as we come up to the faster speed, I'm doing this for a group of people and I'm trying to keep everything going kind of mid level. Just slow it down. Wherever you're at, slow it down so it doesn't feel like you're hyperventilating quite so much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sharon, you and I are both doulas, and I remember the days when we would be working with clients at births, and they would often talk about getting lightheaded if they were doing a lot of different kinds of breathing to support themselves through labor. And we'd often recommend that, breathing into a bag, but that doesn't feel very relaxing, right? or fun, or it may not even be handy, depending where you are you're trying to energize yourself while you're driving. That isn't going to work. So thank you for that tip.
So, you're welcome.
All right. Well, one of the things we wanted to do was to orient people to what happens in a Divine Feminine retreat, because Sharon and I are planning this retreat for the end of November 2024. The dates are November 23rd through 27th. So that's a Thursday through Sunday, delicious 4 days, 3 nights in the woods at the foothills of Mount Rainier in Washington State. I visited the conference center a few months ago in the summer when it was stunningly gorgeous. And I live in a place surrounded by trees. But as I was driving there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just on a whole new level of beauty. And there's some old growth forest that has never been cut at the conference center that we'll be at. And we're hoping that the weather cooperates so that we can take a visit into that. So one of the things that I would say is that there's many different types of retreats that people can find that are led from a sacred feminine or divine feminine perspective. But mine always include nature. That's just such a huge part of what I see as the divine feminine. So choosing an environment that is conducive to that provides space and time for us to spend time on land, in nature, by water, with trees, seeing the sky, whatever the elements might be, is a key part So I wanted to ask you, Sharon, what are some of the key things that you look for that you want to be included in a Divine Feminine retreat?
Always, always, always nature. Always nature. If it's at all possible, I want hot springs and water. But that's probably my Cancer aspect coming out just a little bit. I love the water. I'm a water baby. For me, music. Music, movement, deep introspection, and being able to freshly connect with my authentic expression of divine feminine. I believe we all are on a spectrum with that, male, female, however you identify. And it just, that opening and that deepening and connecting with that part of me inside that is so gloriously feminine. Because, like many of us, I spend a lot of time in my masculine. I spend a lot of time making things happen, creating things in the world that would typically be looked at as divine masculine. And, I think we all kind of dance that balance with wherever we naturally sit.
Yeah, I mean, you bring
Did
up
that
two,
answer your question?
yeah, and you raised some more issues that I think are really important to kind of highlight. One is that, I identify as a woman, and I know without a doubt that the social constructs around me, my upbringing, just so many of the overarching cultural contexts in which I live are all based on the masculine and not the divine masculine, I might add, often very oppressive, patriarchal, misogynistic systems, which affect a female bodied person tremendously. And I know that when you and I have talked about what we're wanting to create, that one of the things is that we want to create an environment and a context that feels different so that we can tap into that. It's hard. It's hard when you're swimming in a soup of patriarchy to just, march forth ahead with your divine feminine intact because that it is not supported. And so that's one of the things that I'm looking at is what are the things we can do to soften, to remove, to change the soup that we're all boiling in and create something that allows us to feel, to like embody, to tap into, to touch, to recognize, to acknowledge, to awaken that divine feminine that exists, like you said, in every living thing, not just even in people, in every living thing.
Exactly.
And I think that I'd like to also say what I identify as the divine feminine are the qualities of love and compassion and collaboration and peace. Those are the four things that I am often asking myself, are you being loving? Are you being compassionate? Are you being collaborative? And because the sacred feminine is about creation. And when you create with all those things, you're creating the masterpiece, So when we're creating our babies and when we're creating art and when we're creating food and when just any kind of creation, again, doesn't matter the gender of the person, when we're creating from that place of love and compassion and collaboration and peace, we are sitting in our divine feminine. Tell me some of the things that you're looking forward to offering at our retreat in November.
Oh, I'm so excited. And number one, I've spent, I would say, the last 24, almost 25 years of my life, in addition to being a professional birth worker, exploring cellular healing, somatic healing, along with the breath work, exploring the ways in which we let go of trauma within this physical body. And I am so excited to offer some beginning experiences of that for people, things that you can take home and do and experience. I'm super excited to share somatic movement and sound healing. And just everything else. I'm super excited to experience Carrie and what she's bringing. Yeah. I think those are the big things that I'm looking at going, I really love this, and those things include different aspects within the big package of that. So this is
Mhm.
going to be a beautiful, beautiful experience.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. So this is a perfect example of collaboration. I have offered a Sacred Feminine retreat since 2006, and I would always have somebody that I was co-facilitating with. And it was always so fun because it's like, oh, what can somebody else bring that I don't have? And what can I bring that somebody else doesn't do? And so I'd like to share with you the things that I'm looking forward to bringing. So I have been a birthing from within mentor. I was also a professional childbirth support person for since 2001. It's been long. Whoa, getting in the 20s of years. And birthing from within focuses on art, not to create a masterpiece, but as a way of expressing that taps into the right side of our brain, which isn't controlled by logic, reasoning, words, those kinds of things. So it's, I mean, we're made up of these, not just the masculine and feminine, but also these different sides or aspects of ourselves. And one is, linear and focused on getting shit done, and the other one is like, and there's no time or space, and it's very amorphous. And again, because of the cultural context I was speaking to earlier, we spend a lot more time in our left brains. Our left brains tend to be dominant for most people, but the right brain is equally, if not more important. And so art is a way to tap into that. And I always hesitate to say, like, I like to do art, because then people are like, oh my God, I don't like to draw. I suck at art. And it's never about that. I think of it as using mediums to create something that starts with an intention, and then there's a gathering and there's an expression using different media, and then it becomes something that symbolizes those thoughts that were maybe deeply in our unconscious that have been brought to the surface a bit. So it's a process. It's not just like, sit down, here's some paint and paper, and draw that tree out there. The other thing I love to bring is ritual. I love ritual so much. So, and rituals can be little mini things. They can be big, huge, multi-day elaborate things. This is not going to be a multi-day elaborate ritual, but we will definitely bring in ritual. And also music and dance. Dance is my particular favorite form of movement. And okay, now there's something else I'm forgetting. Oh, I just have so much interest in psychology, developmental psychology, attachment theory, internal family systems, just the ways that we show up in the world that are not often, they are based in our upbringing, in particularly our pre-verbal years, and then into our very early developmental years. And I love to look at those things and help people kind of excavate a little bit and dig in there and think back to what were some of the things that they were picking up, learning subconsciously, integrating into their belief system that isn't necessarily serving them any longer. And so I always like to do something that is around that. And then I love to bring in the ancestors, because we are not just here in this isolated lifetime. We are part of a lineage that goes way back, and that is also going forward, and helping to place ourselves in that lineage and call in our ancestors and speak with them and acknowledge them is a huge part of our acknowledgement of our feminine selves. As if you think of those nesting dolls, like, where are we in the nesting of our ancestors and that ancestral energy? So that's what I'm
I
looking
love that.
forward to.
I love that. I love that. And you mentioned you mentioned the cultural appropriation and how we grow up with certain things based on our families. Let's just say it like that, since my tongue, and our culture and the country we grow up in. And I'm hoping to add to that, as that's one of the things I also play with, is working on just busting these beliefs about who we really are and opening deeply into the truth,
Mhm.
the truth of who we are.
Mhm. Yeah.
So thank you. I
One,
love that. I'm getting more and more
yeah,
excited.
I know. I know. It's really fun talking about it. We've been planning this for months, and then you plan, and then you go head down work, and then you plan, you do some head down work. But like now, just talking about it, Freely it makes it feel so much more fun and light. And then, I always love the build up to retreats, because then you're actually there doing it. And it's like, oh, we've been thinking and talking about this forever. And now we're like in it. And that's one of my favorite forms of creation, is creating events, creating situations, creating environments to then invite people into, where it's curated. Like, we've put together an entire experience. Oh, and I don't want to forget to mention food. Like, it's been so fun working with the folks who are cooking the food, and what they're bringing to, the cooking of the food, putting the love into it, and then being able to eat in community. Like, there's layers and layers and layers of what I get excited about, and then get so happy to experience, especially eating good food that I didn't have to cook for 4 days.
I think one of the most exciting things for me is that these types of retreats, I also have been doing Divine Feminine retreats since 2011. And one of the things I absolutely love is how these retreats take on a life of their own based on who shows up and what's needed. And the ability to dance in the moment with what is there, being willing to let go of all the things we planned and we need to do, but this is what's needed. There's so much anticipation in that. There's so much joy in that, saying, what is this group of people going to bring forth? And I always get so excited for that.
It's like opening a present. You see the box, and then the people come, and then you get to see what's inside. And yeah, I'm so glad you brought up that aspect, because I think some people often worry about, like, oh, I don't know if I'm woo-woo enough, or I'm too woo-woo, or if they're going to be talking about, they're going to make me do art, or, they're going to be talking about these things that aren't relevant to me. And I've never had somebody say, that didn't do much for me. Never had people say that. Because again, it's you come as you are and leave with what you need and receive. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anything else that we can share about our?
I just, if you've been struggling with finding balance in your life, finding balance between the masculine and feminine in your life, if you've been struggling with that in any way, shape, or form, this honestly, this is for you. We get so caught up in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
And so caught up with the must-haves and the things we have to do, and the crazy alarm that goes off on the phone. Oh no, I've got to get in the car, I've got to go, it's time to go do this, it's time to go do that. And just to be able to come and breathe and let everything down in a supportive, beautiful, loving, kind, accepting space. If that were all there was to it, I would be excited for this. And yet we've got tools for people to take home, for people to remember, and for people to say, oh, I'm finding myself out of balance again.
Yeah.
What was it that they did? Oh, they did this breathwork session. Oh, they did this dance session. Oh, they created art. Oh, we did this meditation. Oh, and bringing that back in.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that I so deeply wanted to offer, is things that you experience something, you embody it, which is like one of the things that I learned in my time as a doula is people could talk about birth, they could fantasize about it, they could read about it, they'd have all these ideas about it, but embodying the process of birth is, profound. And that I want to give people the embodied knowledge of what it feels like to be moving from your authentic self. I want people to experience what they discover about their divine feminine. I want people to have that embodied knowledge, because then When you're not doing it, you are so much more aware of it. And then people have these experiences, these tools, these tricks that they can do to bring them back in when they're at home, doing all the things that sometimes they don't want to be doing, when they're at work and struggling with whatever's going on in the work environment. So bringing this into people's personal lives and their work lives is essential. So I have to also be honest that I hold retreats, I do this work because I do want to smash the patriarchy. That is my ultimate goal. I don't know if it's going to happen in my lifetime, but I have sons and daughter-in-laws. I have grandsons and granddaughters. I have great grandsons and great granddaughters.
Oh, I just had
And
my granddaughter.
I hope that at least for my great grandchildren, this world will look completely different.
Yeah.
Or we'll be fucking gone. But I know that because I know how it's impacted my life, when we can tap into our divine feminine and be working from that place all throughout all aspects of our lives, the things around us change. That is how change is going to happen. No one at the top is going to say, okay, we've been doing the patriarchy thing for a while. We should probably give another option a chance. That's not going to happen. So we have to make that change. We have to embody who we want to be. We have to create those experiences and that way of being in our life. And one of the things, and you and I have talked about this, and I think I mentioned this to my folks, is we also know that it can be really tricky to be in the enclosed capsule of a retreat and then go back to what a lot of people call the real life, and I call the unreal life. The real life is what happens in retreats. That's the real shit. But then we go out into, all the structures and the houses and the families and the job place and all those things. And we kind of forget. So we are offering integration sessions. And I've never done that before. I've always been available to people, but we're going to do 4 integration sessions. I'm not sure if we decided on the schedule, but something like every other week after the retreat. So people can come and talk about their successes, their challenges, and just all the things that come up after having an experience like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I hope and love the fact that my deepest intention is that when people leave and go home from this, that they go home being fully nurtured, feel fully taken care of, and they have an idea of how to tap in to that divine feminine part of them, to ask, okay, how can I support you? What small things can I do today to nurture my divine feminine? I pray that when we're done with this retreat, we're done with the integration sessions, that each person has an idea of how to do that for themselves at some level.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, the dates are November 23rd through 27th. So if you have questions, there will be contact information wherever you're watching this video from, whether it's on YouTube or from somebody's social media or newsletter. There will be contact information if you have questions. So don't hesitate to reach out, send an email. You could even schedule a call with me if you'd like to. So if you have any questions, you can find the contact information wherever you're watching this video. Or you can go to sacredfeminine.carriekenner, that's CARRIEKENNER.com, to get more information and to sign up. And if you can't get your questions answered there, feel free to send either Sharon or I an email. You could also schedule a call with me if you want to talk about it. But we'd love to have you there. Come and experience all that we're creating and join us.
Absolutely. And I'll be available on Facebook as well. So if some of you feel more comfortable connecting on Facebook, I'll put my details with this and you just feel free to PM me. and
Awesome.
we'll be right there.
All
Thank you
right.
so much, Carrie. Thank you
Yeah,
so
it's
much.
been great. It's been great just being in the imaginal space right now and putting myself in that place in the future. All right. Bye.
See you there.